Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Rotary Thursday. It's great to see everyone this morning. We're going to go ahead and start our meeting. So we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Fred, if you wouldn't mind leading us in the pledge.
Everyone, please stand and face the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Fred. And Amy, if you don't mind leading us in invocation, please. You're on.
Dear God, thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us, and for all the blessings that we received. And just be with the people in Louisiana as they are dealing with hurricane. Watch over them and keep them safe, thoughtful, and visit us throughout our week and help us to be a light for you as we.
Thank you, Amy. Sorry, I should have called you up here. Great job on the cuff. Okay, so please be seated. We'll go ahead and go over a couple of Zoom guidelines. We try to make changes every week. So on the Zoom side, you can speak whenever you want to speak. We have the speakers on, so we don't have to do the whole mute and stop thing. So please feel free if you want to speak on the Zoom side, go ahead and share. Remember to mute your microphone. I think there might be one open mic on there somewhere. So please, everybody take a second to mute your microphone unless you have something to talk about. Fred's running the show on the PC today, Fred and Mark. Dennis is at home. He's self-quarantining. He's going to get to see his new grandbaby in a couple of weeks, so he's just taking extra precautions. So Dennis is on the Zoom side today. If you have any feedback on the hybrid meeting, please let me know. We'll try to make those improvements, trying to make it a little bit better for everybody every week. So we'll go ahead and start with the introduction of guests, non-Rotarian guests. Do we have any guests?
We do, Peter. Dr. Cheryl Davis is with us again, and I'm going to let her say a few things about herself, if she would, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Once again, I guess I'm one of these on the cuff too. I didn't know I was going to be speaking.
I'm sorry about that.
But I'm Dr. Cheryl Davis. I'm a former administrator of Madison County Schools. In fact, I was principal of Monrovia Elementary, and then I was also assistant principal prior to that at Monrovia Middle School. I was assistant principal. I was principal at the elementary school. And I just recently retired, and I am doing civic work now, and working with my sorority, and we do a lot of community service programs, specifically Kappa Alpha sorority, throughout the community, and supporting different efforts when it comes to the homeless, financial fitness. We also work with the aging, and various other organizations. And I'm also a member of First Missionary Baptist Church on Blue Spring Road, where Dr. Don Darius Butler is my pastor. And I am married, and I have one daughter. I think that's enough.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I think this is your 5th meeting with us, so there's probably some paperwork somewhere going around.
Second meeting.
Oh, second meeting. Okay. Time flies when you're having fun. Well, welcome back, Dr. Davis. Do we have any other visitors?
This is Brenda. She's on the phone this time. And yes, I do have my paperwork, and I am going to complete it today and submit it. This is definitely my 5th meeting.
All right. I had the two confused. Sorry about that, Brenda and Dr. Davis. We also have, on this side, we have Dr. Ed Nichols with us, which is, he's in a weird place. I don't know if he's a visitor or a visiting Rotarian. So he's a longtime Rotarian. I know that, and he's, I think, transitioning clubs, and we're very lucky to have him join us. Do you want to say anything, Dr. Nichols? Okay, so he's glad to be here. So thank you. On this side, if we got to remember that the only sound is on this microphone. So if you have something longer to share, please come up here. Otherwise, I'll just repeat what you said. Do we have any other visitors or visiting Rotarians with us today? I see Roger. He's part of our satellite club. And we have Tim over here and Claire Sum, part of our satellite club. And Tim and Claire will be talking about something in just a second. Do we have anybody else from the satellite side with us this morning? All right. We'll go ahead and start with our announcements and maybe some brags. Does anybody have any brags on this side? I don't have a dollar on me, so I owe you, Fred, and I owe Bob over there. But I just want to brag on Mark Highsmith over here. We don't get politics in this club, so I'm not going to make this political. But he ran for mayor recently. I think he did an excellent job. I just wanted to congratulate him. I know that's not easy. So Mark, great job on that first one. Do we have any other brags or announcements?
I have one.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
Like Dennis, I'm being quarantined because my next grandchild is due on September the 8th.
Congratulations. Okay, anything else to share before we hit the announcements, and Tim and Claire will come up here and share some stuff with us. All right, Claire, Tim, if you want to come up here. So this is the only sound, so just be somewhere in this vicinity.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Claire Somm. I'm with the Satellite Club. My husband and I joined last year, and we're just really enjoying it so far. We're pretty new to the area, so we're very thankful for Rotary and how we've been able to get involved. I'm here today to talk a little bit about Kids to Love and our upcoming fundraiser. I am the marketing coordinator for Kids to Love. I do work for them. If you're not familiar, I know most of you are, especially through our K-Tech program. Kids to Love is a foster care foundation. We have a foster home in Ardmore. We have Tranquility Retreat in Fayetteville, Tennessee. And then we also have, where all the magic happens is, of course, our Kids to Love Center, which is in Madison. That's home of our K-Tech program, and that's where everything behind the scenes, from backpacks to Christmas gifts, thousands of backpacks and Christmas gifts to foster kids all over the state, go. And of course, our weekly food box giveaway to our foster care families. So what I really wanted to talk about today is our upcoming fundraiser. It's Over the Edge. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it is where we ask members of the community to get together and rappel off of the Region Center downtown. So Tim has volunteered, as I volunteered Tim, to go over the edge. We do ask that each rappeller pledges to raise $1,500. So that's really my challenge to you all today, is to help support Tim go over the edge. I really appreciate him going over the edge and representing Madison Rotary Club. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And after the meeting, I will send out a link with his fundraising link if you would like to support Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. You got to practice first.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Tim. Of course, we support Kids to Love in a lot of different ways. We do the scholarship to somebody, which we've already done for this year. And we also do an ethics training that we do when we go over our 4-way test. So thank you for joining us this morning. Any other announcements?
And John Rice is teaching there.
And John Rice, one of our own members, is also and doing a wonderful job, as Claire says. So thank you, John, as well. Are there any other announcements before we get to club business? And club business, I guess we're going to start with parrots and then move on from there. Yes, sir.
Peter, one quick thing, and if I had $1 or 10, I'd probably put it in. But when we went to vote yesterday, Madison Rotary was really filling the holes there. There was a call from the city to come out and help and try to relieve the burden on the elderly that typically work those polls. And Madison Rotary was out in force. So just a great appreciation to all those who volunteered. I think it was a wonderful thing.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah, I think Melissa Gibson was a part of that, calling out for volunteers. So I'm glad so many of our club could help. Okay, so
Peter,
move on
one
to,
other thing.
yes, yes, ma'am.
We're getting great participation in the club strategic plan survey. So if you haven't done it, please do it.
We're looking for 100% participation. Fred promises he's going to get to it pretty soon here.
Oh, I do have one announcement. The boxes for the boxes of happiness were put together at Old Black Bear yesterday, and Claire and Grant and Todd at least were there putting them together to be put out.
Okay, so those boxes are going out soon, and then the list of items that are needed are going to be on those boxes, or we'll kind of send that out to the club? Yes, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
September 1st, Claire's here, and she's helping with that along with Bailey and some other folks. So September 1st, the boxes will be out in different locations, and then we'll put a list out of where they're located and what items they're looking for. And of course, they support Downtown Rescue Mission. What are some of the other ones? And a couple other organizations, and it'll all be in the information that we send out. So any other announcements before we get to Parrots, a little quick Parrots update? All right, let me pull up some slides for John and Tom. If you don't mind switching, Mark, after. John or Tom, go ahead if you want to give a quick update. I kind of stole your thunder by just showing the slide.
That's okay. As you can see, we went way over on our sponsorships just this week. We've gone up to 11,000. Would like to see it continue to go higher, but very, very pleased that we've reached this amount for our sponsorships. If you go on to the next slide, ticket sales are still dragging. As you can see, we're not quite where we need to be on ticket sales yet. So, please continue to get word out to your friends and other folks as far as buying their tickets. I know Calypso Vision has been pushing it on their page as well, I believe, as the hospital's been pushing on their side as well. But I do expect sales to be slow until we get closer to the event as people watch weather, those types of things. Just would appreciate if you can continue working on that. On the auction front, a lot of tremendous work has been made. Progress on that has been made with Todd Seaton working with Catherine and Melissa, and they've gotten a website up for the auction site, and I'll try to get that information over to you, Cynthia, so you can include it in the next newsletter so folks can take a look at it. But the site is really coming together very, very well. I've got a couple questions out to Sandy and some other folks that we're trying to work through some minor details now on it. But the online auction site is really coming together nicely. So I think that's going to be a very successful opportunity for us. So that's really all I have. Tom, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
If you haven't already, go visit our volunteer sign up. I think the early jobs are mostly filled. We still have some slots to fill for the gate and the takedown teams. But that's on Sign Up Genius, and you should have a link in your email.
Thanks, Tom. Good ad. Well, that's all I have, and I really do appreciate everybody's support on this.
And I don't know if Catherine's on there, but I think we're still looking for the basket items for the auction at Center State Bank and the wine bottles, I guess by Monday.
Yes, that's correct. And we've already started to receive some baskets and wine bottles. So just please make sure that you get in contact with me so that we can get that dropped off. The earlier that you can do it, the better, because Melissa and I need to take pictures so that we can get them uploaded on the website.
Okay, so I'll send something out on there, but yeah, next Monday is when they want all that stuff, because they're going to start the auction a little bit earlier, which is a little different than what we normally do. So, Anything else on parrots before we kind of move on? All right. Pull up a couple slides and then we'll get to the program. All right, again, we have Jackson, who's been on with us for now 30 or 40 minutes. He joined the meeting early to make sure everything was working properly. So he's going to give us a little update on, he's a Rotary scholarship recipient from Picayune, that's how you pronounce it, Picayune, Mississippi. And the Rotary Club there gave him a scholarship to attend Mississippi State, I believe. So he'll give us a little update on how that's going and what Rotary's meant to him. And then if you go to the next slide, and don't click on it yet, but we did a pretty big deal. So last week there was a big Rotary news in that we have our first Rotary International female president coming up in a couple of years. So that was a big deal. And this is a big deal too. Africa has been I guess, said that it is polio free. So the World Health Organization made the announcement, Africa's polio free. Of course, we play a big role in that as Rotarians. So it's nothing to take lightly. It's a big deal. So we're just going to share something from the Rotary International president, a little message that he shared. So I'm going to move the microphone over to the speaker. And if you just tap the screen, it should.
Let's be honest. In the face of the pandemic, the world has not had much good news to celebrate in global health this year. And the challenges ahead are formidable. That's why we must recognize the great achievement and commend all of the people who played important roles in reaching out this milestone. It took tremendous effort over many years.
Rotary and our partners began this mission more than 2 decades ago, when we joined with Nelson Mandela to begin the work of eradicating the wild polio virus in the Africa region. Mandela inspired us all, and his support for this effort energized African nations and leaders across the continent to step up their efforts to reach every child with polio vaccine.
And step up, we did. To all our Rotary members, thank you for your continued support and dedication. We know this hasn't been easy, and there is still work to be done before we can fulfill our promise of a polio-free world. But you have helped achieve something remarkable. Rotarians have raised funds for polio eradication, advocated with world governments and local and national leaders, held events and fundraisers for World Polio Day, and raised awareness of polio eradication.
On providing polio pluses such as soap, health kits, along with oral polio vaccines in camps for internally displaced persons in Borno State, to giving polio immunization during family health days across Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and Uganda, Rotary members have shown resilience, persistence, and steadfast dedication to our top priority of ending polio. But we would not accomplish this alone. Tens of thousands of health workers have dedicated their lives to fighting polio throughout Africa. Thank you for your hard work. We have served as trusted voices in your communities and protected hundreds of millions of children from paralysis.
This is a big step in our journey to a polio-free world. But the fight is not over yet. We still need the support of our Rotary members, donors, and the heroic effort of healthcare workers to finish the job.
There's one more big celebration to come, when we eradicated wild polio for good. We need your energy, tenacity, and commitment to protect children worldwide and rid the world forever of this terrible virus.
Thank you.
I know we participate every year in raising funds for Polio Plus. We do our Change for Change campaign, which if Bill Drake was with us right now, he would say it's coming up in October. So thank you to the entire club for doing that. So let's move on to the next one. So a couple of birthdays and celebrations before we get to the program. We got Todd Butler, Karen's, I believe, hubby, Saturday, October 29th. He's having a birthday. We have Al Turner, who is, here he is right there. Yeah, you have a birthday coming up on Sunday. 37th. Happy birthday, Al. We have an anniversary here. We have Sandy, or as Amy likes to call him, Sandy Pants. His anniversary for being in our club is on 8/28, and he'll be with us for 12 years. So congratulations, Sandy Pants. I think I see you on the Zoom there. And no wedding anniversaries over this last week. So we will, the next, what Rotary is looking like over the next couple of weeks is, of course, we have Jackson with us today, Satellite Club meeting on September 1st. And if I miss anything, just please let me know. Parrots is coming up very soon. Parrots Planning is our next club meeting, followed by Jennifer Lynn from the WEDC. And then a couple other things. And Dr. Ed Nichols, who's with us here today, will be speaking on September 17th about all the great things that we're doing in Madison City Schools. So with that being said, Tom, if you're on the Zoom, would you mind introducing the speaker today?
Certainly. I'm glad to introduce a young man that's been working for me this past summer at Radiance Technologies. His name is Jackson Ledford, and he mentioned that he had received a scholarship from his local Rotary, and I thought it'd be a good chance to have someone speak to the club that had benefited from Rotary in their personal life. So Jackson, if you will, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm just double checking. Can everyone hear me all right? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right, cool.
We can. Good.
So yes, thank you so much for having me today. It's been I've been looking forward to this, be able to share sort of like how Rotary has impacted my life. And I will say I'm very thankful for Rotary. I'm very extremely thankful for Rotary. I'm a senior at Mississippi State, as was mentioned earlier. I'm studying computer science. And originally I'm from Pekin, Mississippi. So if you know where that is, I'm sorry. It's way south Mississippi. And I went to Pekin High School. And at Pekin High School, there was this like one scholarship. I'm not sure how other high schools do their awards ceremonies and they hand out scholarships for seniors. But I remember going to my older sister's one. Everyone really wanted the Rotary Club scholarship. That was like the one that was a big award. It was $3,000. And everyone applied for it. That was one thing that was very much the coveted award, I would say, one of the bigger awards presented by Pekin Memorial High School. And so when it was my time to become a senior, I applied for it. But there was a lot more to the Rotary Club scholarship than originally I knew about. So the Rotary Club scholarship comes in three variants. You have the $3,000 scholarship, the $1,000 scholarship, and a $500 scholarship. The $3,001 will just go to any senior graduating and planning on attending a four-year university. The $1,000 scholarship will go to a senior who's planning on attending a vocational school or a community college. And then the $500 scholarship will be going to a senior looking to go to a trade school as well. Because in my area, there's a lot of trade schools that a lot of seniors chose to go to after high school. And they did this not only for the city school, but also for the county school as well. So they collected around $9,000 over the course of the year and presented one of each to each school, one senior to each school. And I just want to take a second. I know we had a second to brag about stuff going on. I'd like to brag about the Pekin Rotary Club chapter. They have been a very giving organization. Ever since I was a kid, they've always been a part of the Christmas floats and the parades. They've also been doing back to school supplies for at least 4 elementary schools, doing fishing rodeo for special education kids, and of course the Christmas basket food drive as well. So they've been very active in our community, and with being in a smaller town, I got to know these people growing up, these people who I was familiar with growing up. The Sergeant at Arms, Houston Costello specifically, was my teacher for a while. And so having that connection with the community was very nice. I saw what the Rotary Club was doing almost, all the time. I was part of Interact Club in high school, which I know is the high school version of Rotary. And it was very nice to be able to participate and to receive this gift from the Picayune Rotary Club chapter. Now, a little bit about sort of how the process went for me for the scholarship. I would say it's probably one of the more intensive scholarships that I've gotten to apply for. And that's probably, even to this day, I applied for a few more, and even to this day, that's probably one of the more interactive ones I've been a part of. So there's like essentially 3 different cuts. The first cut was you had to turn in your grades, and they made like the initial cut from there. And I believe the people who were Miss Henrietta, who was basically the go-to person for this, and a couple other people would talk to your teachers and other things and get information about you that way. And then they would trim it down the list. And then you also had to write an essay about your future plans, what you aspire to be, and then also the impact of community in your life and how you plan to impact the community. Yes, was there a question? Oh, I just heard an echo. Okay. And then the last part, after they narrowed it down, they selected 5 seniors from the county school and the city school, and they attended the Rotary Club meeting on Thursdays. And it was a lunch that we got to sit down and interact with the members of the Rotary Club, and it was a lot of handshaking, getting to talk to them, and then get a feel for us and sort of how we were as people. You can see a lot from an essay, you can see a lot from grades, but until you're sitting across from somebody and having a conversation, I think they wanted to see that interaction as well. And I will say that the people that they selected were very, very good people. I know from my high school, it was 4 girls and myself. And the 4 girls were higher in class rank than me. They were, one was a physical trainer for SEC schools. I know she was a physical trainer for Mississippi State and Alabama. And she's gone on to be one of the head physical trainers for Mississippi State. Another one is an RN currently right now for a NICU over in Columbus, Mississippi. And then the other 2 right now are, one's a civil engineer, one's a mechanical engineer. And I'm the only one in school, so I guess the girls beat me to it. But they really went out of their way to make sure that they were picking people who had the scholarship, that they would make an impact on the community later on, that they were really focused on the character of the person. And after that, I would say, because of the interaction we had, it was constant communication back and forth. Even after that, I had received the scholarship. There was Miss Henrietta, of course, I had her phone number. I would go to meetings. Sometimes they would invite me to meetings if I was in town. And sort of out of talking with that, I felt that if people such as yourselves gave me money, such a large chunk of money, that you deserve to know where your money was going. So it ended up turning into a requirement, which now they do now, where you have to check in and sort of tell them like an update, because people want to know how people are doing, right? So if they got invested into it and they had time to sit down and have lunch with you, go through the process with you. I know the people who are on the board specifically wanted to know how you were doing, but even if you're from the same community, people care. And having an update was just a really nice way to say thank you and to let them know that their money was going to a good cause. The scholarship wasn't just a one and done type deal. It was $3,000, but they split it up into payments of $750, and going to the $1,000 scholarship, I believe it was $250 every semester. And then for the $500 scholarship, I believe it was just $500 for the trade school, because that was like part of the entrance fee that they covered. But in order to receive the money for the next year, you had to submit your transcript showing that you had already applied for the following fall. So I didn't want to just give somebody money and have them blow it and that be it, because people spent valuable time and energy collecting this money. They wanted to make sure it was going to a good cause. So that was part of the process. When I would show my transcripts to Miss Henrietta, she would take it, let them know that I was planning on going in there. I would get messages from the Rotary Club telling me, hey, good job. And I would go back to them and say, hey, this is my grade point average. This is the classes I'm taking. This is how I did this semester. And even if it was like detrimental to me, I had one semester where I had like 2, 3 C's, and I told them about it. And they're like, hey, it happens, very supportive, and sent me on my way. and with some encouragement. And I will say that I'm very thankful for that relationship with the Picayune chapter. I still talk with most of them today. In fact, my landlord currently was a member of the Rotary Club there, and just the connection we made through that was amazing. His son pitched for Mississippi State, so the connection that you made like through Rotary is something that has directly impacted my life. And so I can't say how thankful I am for the Rotary Club scholarship. Later on, my little sister also got it. So even my family has been impacted in a very positive way from people like you who have taken the time and energy to make a difference in someone's life. Even though $3,000, I mean, it was like a fourth of my tuition. So even while it's a big deal to maybe like these, how do you say it? I know like prices are going up, even still that amount of money where I didn't have to worry where my books were coming from, because books are expensive, you know, and that helped me get grades and keep up my other scholarships. That was like a huge deal to me. So I would also like to say, like, I think one of the reasons why they were so involved was because they do a lot of like Rotary foreign exchange. It's one of the big things the Rotary Club there does, and just be able to have that interaction. They already interacted with a high school student. They wanted to see somebody transition into college life as well. It was very, very nice. And to give you guys an update on where I am, this is what I told them last time I was here. I worked over the summer with Radiance underneath Tom Florence. It was a great learning experience. Had a lot of stuff to do. Still have a lot of stuff to do. But you know, I'm entering my last 10 hours at Mississippi State, and because I co-op, that's why I was a little bit longer. But I wouldn't trade the experience, because while I was in Huntsville and got to be around the community up there and see the area that you guys are serving, you know, it's awesome what you guys are doing there as well. So I'm gonna get my last 10 hours. I have a 3.4 right now, trying to bump it up just a little bit to have a chance to graduate with like a cum laude. So I'm going summa cum laude. So I'm going to try for it. But that's where I'm at, and that's what the Picayune Rotary Club Scholarship has done for me. And hopefully going forward, you know, they'll affect a lot more people as well. I know I believe there was a chance for questions, right? Am I wrong?
Yes, does anybody have any questions for Jackson? Cynthia? Any questions for Jackson? Jackson, I know you've been involved in Rotary some. Are you thinking about one day becoming a Rotary Club member, whether it's in Picayune or wherever you end up landing?
Absolutely. I think that's one thing, because I saw that the impact and what you guys do is the community taking care of itself. That means a lot to me. It's one of the things I hold true to my values. So I can definitely say that's something I'm very interested in.
Awesome.
I do have a question. Sorry, I stepped away from my computer. So the question that I have is, I've noticed there's a lot of safeguards in the scholarship program. Was that something that that developed over time, or do you know?
I believe it developed over time. I believe there was one bad case, and then they put in a couple of safeguards after that. But I will say, like, after that process, I think that the return on investment was very good for them. The people who've gotten the scholarship before, one is, I know 2 are doctors, like medical doctors. 2 have gone on to be hiring officers in the military, because they were members, like family friends. And so they're after that, it happened way before my time, way before I was even in high school. But the effort that they made, being very intentional and really trying to dig for people who have a return on investment, because it may be $3,000 you give to somebody, but what they will give somebody else is what they were looking for. And that was part of the conversations that we had when I was doing the interview process, is they were saying, okay, what will you do for your community with this education? Because education, they realized, was the first step to lead to more good.
And also, were there other requirements besides your grades? I know you said there was a lot of in the interview process, but usually a lot of times people will look for leadership or for other qualities.
That was part of, I think, writing it out and then talking to our teachers in our grades. I wouldn't necessarily say like we wrote like had all our volunteer experience with there, but with talking to our teachers beforehand, they had a sense of what we were doing in there, and oftentimes picking, I mean, it's not like a small town, but it's small enough to where people know who know you. And so it wasn't hard to see if you were very active in the community or not. I think there was a question in the chat. What are your plans after graduating? Hopefully Huntsville. That is my hope. I want to, again, computer science is my major, and I want to be able to program for a little while, hopefully maybe some more management side of things eventually, but I enjoy programming. I do a lot of side projects. That's sort of what I'm doing right now. And I look forward to doing that later on.
Oh, you can help us with our website.
All right.
Good morning, Peter.
Yes.
Good morning, Peter. This is Tony. I don't so much have a question, but I did want to say that I was a recipient of a Rotary scholarship from Scottsboro High School when I was a senior in high school. And it was a $1,000 scholarship. And back in the day, that covered a whole year of my tuition.
And that was just a couple years ago, right, Tony?
Right.
Well, I mean, I can't tell you like how thankful I am, but even though it's like $750 a semester, $3,000 would almost cover my entire year. Oh no, entire semester. Let me correct myself. But even just having the money for the books for the year, that was like, books are so expensive. McGraw-Hill needs to lower their prices.
Jackson, this is Bob. Are you in school now, and are you doing? Are you attending classes, or is it through the internet? That's the first question. And the second question is, how did you lose your Mississippi accent?
How did I lose my Mississippi State what?
How did you lose your Southern Mississippi accent?
Oh, okay. So, first question, I do classes almost, Mississippi State has done like hybrid classes. So they split the class up into like 3 parts or 2 parts, depending on when you meet. So on my Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, I only show up 1 day a week in person, and I log in live on my computer the other 2 days. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, they split the class in half and just have a bigger room. And what they'll do is like half the class comes in 1 day, half the class comes in another day. And then the other 2 classes that I have are online. I can just do them whenever in the morning and knock them out pretty quickly. I never really had a Southern accent. I guess that was from my family's Air Force on both sides, so I bleed blue. But I guess with moving around a lot, I just didn't grow up around it. So I never really had it. I've lived in Mississippi. I wasn't born in Mississippi, but I will claim Mississippi every day of the week as my home. So.
One quick question. So you kind of talked about some other students that had gotten the $3,000 scholarship and kind of, how they turned out. Do you have any insight on successes associated with like the vocational training scholarships, or just kind of curious?
Yeah, we have a couple of trade schools. Welding, as I know, is one, and I forget, there was the lineman course that they have as well. I have heard good things about that. I've had 2 buddies go through the lineman course. They didn't receive the scholarship, but I know that they're working right now and doing really well in their field. They work for Mississippi Power, I believe, and they've done a good job. There's a really big push in Mississippi with community colleges. I would say it's one of the more advanced community colleges, I think, in the nation, because they're there's gaps in those vocations now. I think the average age was like upper 40s of the tradesman, average tradesman age. So they were trying to make a big push to revamp that program and that system in Southern Mississippi especially. So I know that those programs are well established and very well done. In fact, a couple of the Rotary Club members are on that board from Picayune. So they're on that board of how things go. That's why I hear things about it when I go to meetings and stuff. But I can't say exactly like I'll show an example like the doctor, for example. But I know that those programs are good programs.
So Jackson,
yes, ma'am.
Do you see any graduate studies in your future?
Good question. All right, so this is something that my whole family wants to know, and I don't know the answer yet. I would say maybe, especially if I wanted to go towards like a more management route after I did like engineering work for a while. I think that would be a route that I would look at. Also, you know, I like stats as well. I would love to do like some form of like stats analysis for a team. That would be really cool. I actually met the guy who there's a professor who does the stats work for the Mississippi State football team. That just fascinates me. I geek out over that stuff. So that'd be fun too.
So no aspirations to be a professor yourself then?
It's not something that calls to me. My mom wanted me to be a teacher. I have too many side projects to be a professor.
Good job. Good job.
All right. I think we have a couple more minutes. If anybody has more questions, yes. Okay. Jackson, if you don't mind sending us a resume at some point, you can probably share it with Tom. There's a Rotarian in here that'd be interested in looking at it, Mr. Al Sullivan.
Yeah, don't hire Jackson out from under me, guys.
I think Radiance might be looking at him too.
There are a lot of us that would be interested in a resume.
Al was the first. All right.
Yeah, I'll have to brush it up and send it your way.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, just share that with Tom, and Tom, if you don't mind sending that to Al Sullivan.
Will do.
Hey, he only gets a day ahead. The rest of us are right behind.
All right. Any more questions for Jackson? Well, thank you, Jackson, for sharing your story. It definitely generated a lot of interest amongst the club. I like the idea of the follow-ups. We give a scholarship to a trade school for K-Tech. We've done it a couple years now, so it's nice when they come back and give us a little update, but it'd be nice to see how they're doing a year or two later. So we'll definitely take that up with Claire and see if we can make that happen. Do we have anything? Thank you again, Jackson. That was fantastic. Do you have anything else before we close for the four-way test or with the four-way test?
I do have one quick question. Is Carla Buchanan in there with you guys?
Yes, Carla's here.
Okay. Peter, could you make a quick list? Because I don't think I'm capturing everybody's actually at the club, because I know several people weren't able to attend or whatever. So I'm not getting all those names.
Okay, we will work on that next time, and I'll try to take a picture before everybody runs out of here. Actually, I have the list, so I know the 20 attendees that are here. So I'll just send that your way. No, we have the list. Okay. If you don't mind getting up, we'll get started with our four-way test. Of the things we think, we say, or we do, first.
Is it true?
Second.
Is it fair for all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth. Will it be beneficial. Thank you all. Have a great day.